Hi all. Um, right, before we move on to the next Allied impulse, a couple of things to mention about that last German impulse. I put a wee comment regarding um, this unit moving after going through all this tactical adjustment stuff and feeling like I've got it all worked out and understanding it. I can still make mistakes with it apparently. Um, this unit was in here and we came around down to movement method 11, which this unit's bracketed, so he's not exerted zone of control. So I figured that's one hex closer to his army objective. So he's doing that. He's also staying adjacent to a unit, getting that 3-to-1 advantage, which is what he wants. But I mean, the unit can't get any closer anyway. It's a broken bridge, this. So, but then I move him into here, and well, there's two things. He's going to be across the river from this unit, but he was across the river when he was sitting here anyway, so that's irrelevant. But he wants to tactically adjust into an empty hex adjacent. Once he's adjacent to this allied unit, he wants to be in an empty hex if possible, which then puts him back into the hex that he came from. Now we've had that situation before come up a couple of times. That still is the case. I mean, by all means, if he was just moving closer to his arm objective, and he was able to move away along here somewhere or that, then he wouldn't suddenly jump back to here. It's because he's ending adjacent to an allied unit, so he then wants to find a better hex, which is either not across a river or in an empty hex. So it puts him back where he came from. I think this came up in the past before, and I don't know, just totally, maybe just coming back to the table after that wee while, just threw me a bit with that one. That'll do as an excuse, won't it? Okay, the other thing I didn't mention, and I was going to put in the comments, but I figured like it wasn't going to matter anyway. But after looking at the rule, it was regarding the combat here. Now the Germans had two step losses to take, and the first step loss has to be taken, so that's fair enough, and it has to go to a 4-step unit if possible. So hang on, I'm just going to turn these back over, just to make sure I did get the right one. It's going to end up the same case anyway. So, okay, these have advanced. Well, these have advanced after combat. That one was in here, wasn't it? Or was it in here? I can't remember anyway. So, because these are both selector number 1, they're both 4-step units. So you would give it to a 4-step unit, and then hang on. Okay, because they're two 4-step units, you would pick the higher selector number. Well, they're both selector number 1. It's tiebreak after that. If there's still more than one, you choose, as in I would get to choose. So, but because it was two 4-step units and it was two hits to dish out, I just gave one to that one and then one to that one. Well, that's not quite correct, because the second hit, the first hit's got to be given as a step loss, but the second hit, if the attacker now consists of just one step, now there was 5 units in the attack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then he would just place disperse marker on it, and it would disperse, because it doesn't want to take another hit, because it would be eliminated. But this isn't the case here. We've got lots of steps in units. So, and then otherwise you would roll a dice. So, and then if the die result is equal to or less than the hold value of the hex under attack, well, the hex of the hold value under attack was 0. It's not got a number, so we can't get less than or equal to 0, or less than the number of steps in the attacking units at the moment of the roll. Assign the second as a step loss. Well, if you roll a dice, at the moment of the roll, there's going to be 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13 steps So it was guaranteed I was going to roll under 13 with a D10. And if that's the case, you assign the second hit as a step loss. So then we would come to here. This is a 4-step unit. He would take the step loss. So I did do it right, but I didn't sort of talk over the procedure, if you like. Well, in actual fact, I didn't think about it. I just thought 4-step units. Oh, there's 2 of them. I've got 2 hits. Let's dish them out. So, but there is a procedure. I mean, it didn't matter in this case, but the second hit isn't automatically dealt out as a step loss. You might have to roll a dice. If there was less units attacking, there would maybe have a dice roll, just in case you want to disperse the units rather than taking the step loss. Okay, that's that. Right. So Allied Impulse. Right. I've been thinking about it, so I think I know what I'm doing. Right. Well, the cards in my hand are pretty rubbish, really. They're not what I want. So it's a wee bit dull, this move, but I don't know really what else to do. I was thinking about just passing. I've only got 5 cards in my hand because I used the core artillery, so that would only let me draw 1 fresh card. There's nothing. The rest of the cards aren't really. I did think. What is it now? The one thing I did think about doing was activating the 5th core, but only to move this guy out of Hue or Hui, whatever it's called. I think I could strategically get him into Liège, just to support Liège. That's kind of about it. But we could come across the division card for, what is that, a 5th core 9, the 9th division, and maybe be able to move it with that. And it's not. I mean, okay, it does become important if the 1st SS or 2nd SS suddenly activate and manage to retreat this guy, because then they're going to advance into this hex, and then we're not going to be able to get something straight into Liège, because we'd be moving adjacent to a German unit. So, however, okay, so, but I don't, and yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of a way, so I'm going to leave that one for now. But I would like to play 1 card so that I'm getting to draw 2 new cards rather than just the 1 if I was to pass. So looking at the 8 core units here, I thought I'd play that, and we've got 2 reduced, 1 there and 1 there, so we can assign 2 replacement points. 1 to that guy, 1 to that guy. Now I think they just need to be able to trade supply, don't they? The unit must be in supply and able to trace supply. And if it's German, it needs to be. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, they're both elites, aren't they? Yeah, because you get that restriction. That's the same in the German game, isn't it? Allied elite replacements. An elite allied unit may only receive an elite replacement step if there are no non-elite units in the core eligible to be assigned non-elite steps. Well, that's like grand. That's not awful. Well, if you remember the last combat, we've got the armoured unit. Is there one? Yeah, 9th armoured unit. Is there anything else? So, hang on. Yeah, this 9th armoured unit. Oh, well, hang on. He can't trace supply though. Does that mean an elite allied unit may only receive an elite replacement step if there are no non-elite units in the core eligible to be assigned non-elite steps? I think I can get away with that then, can't I? Because this, I don't know, it says eligible. I mean, this is eligible to receive a replacement step, but it's not in supply, so it can't. Unit receiving maybe an enemy controlled X. Yeah, but it's got to be able to trace supply, isn't it? Right, I'm not sure about that one then. Don't think I've had this before. So what I thought I was going to do was just apply the replacement steps to the 2 a week units, but then I was forgetting about that whole 16.12 rule, allied elite replacements, and what it's ensuring that you do is you've got to repair all your non-elite units first. Well, I would if I could, though. I mean, that wouldn't be so bad a thing by putting a point. I thought I was going to replace a point there and then just replace 1 point to the elite unit. The other unit we've got is in Bastogne, but he's full strength, and again he's not eligible because he's out of supply, unable to trace supply. So yeah, I'm not sure about that one then. Because does this count as being eligible? I mean, it is eligible, but it's not because it can't trace supply. Does that mean I can't do the assigned replacement points? That would seem a bit harsh, wouldn't it? I'm going to see if I can find anything about this. Well, that's rather annoying. What seems to happen, you've got a bit of time, you sit down and then you come across something you need an answer to. The big question here is eligible. This is a word. If there are no non-elite units in the core eligible to be assigned non-elite steps. So, I mean, it's not eligible because it's not in supply, but my thinking is that what that's meaning, the intention of that is because that unit's reduced, it's eligible, but I don't know. I went and posted the question, so jump to it, guys. Go and give me an answer. I want to get on at least and have another German impulse. Can I get away with this? The thing is, if you come back and tell me, well, no, you can't do that because that unit's reduced. I mean, you know what? I think I'm going to make a call myself with this one and say that yes, I can do it, because that unit could sit there and could sit there for ages, unable to repair it. Eventually become isolated and then eventually maybe get destroyed. So, and that means I can't repair other units. So I'm going to take it that means that because that unit can't trace supply at the minute, it's not eligible to receive a replacement point. The 2 elite units are eligible. There's no other non-elite units apart from the one that's ineligible that can take replacement points. So I'm going to go and I'm going to repair both these units. I'm not feeling 100% confident about this though, but it's kind of going to restrict you, isn't it? I mean, if I could repair the armoured unit, I would. I mean, it's, but I can't. Alright, I'm going to take a chance with this. Whether I can rewind what's happened if somebody comes back and tells me, oh no, you can't do that at all. I might be able to. We shall see. But I'm going to go with my gut feeling, I guess. Okay. Right, so, well, that's my impulse over. I've assigned 2 replacement points. I get to draw 2 new cards, so hoping for something. There we go. Well, I've got 7 core. And we've got our core artillery back. Well, at least it's going to let us deploy the 3 infantry units. I suppose having the Corps artillery back just now isn't terrible, because we might be able to put it to use and shuffle it back in again. Okay, well at least we've got the 7 Corps card. Right, let's get a German impulse in. Right, okay, let's see what we're getting this time. 47th. And a division card for the 85th. Okay. Right, well this is a primary card, so it's going to stay in the command card box. I've got consolidation as the event on the support card, so yeah, that's going to happen. That's annoying. Because I was actually, I've repaired my 2 guys. I was contemplating the possibility of attacking one of the aware units, maybe. I know 2 of them are reduced. Mind you, the 2 that are reduced are in the stack together, so it might not have been that one I would be going for. Well, I'm saying that. Maybe they're too strong anyway. Okay, so consolidation is going to happen. And they're going to place a point on one of the 47 Corps units, aren't they? Add 1 replacement step to the German formation of command card. So, and then the German unit, it needs to be in reserve supply. So let's have a look. Okay, it's got a lot of reduced units. These are the 2 that I was talking about there. But if there's more than 1, we're looking for the highest numbered unit. So that's a 23, that's a 21. We've got the Führer Brigade as well. Remember, he's reduced too, but he's 7. But this guy on the 2nd Panzer unit is 26. So I think he's the one that's going to get the, and yeah, there's no issues with reserve supply. Well, all the German units were fine, so I think it's him that's going to. Oh, he jumps from a 2 to a 4 as well. Look at that. He's elite. Oh, that's rotten. Okay, so that's 9 strength now in that hex. And they're just about to activate. Oh, great. Okay. Right, well that's a consolidation event occurred. So that gets discarded, so at least I've now got a support card. However, now we're going to activate all units in the Corps. So activate 47 Corps. There's no reserve units. There's no roadblocks adjacent to any of the units, and their army objective is in its final spot, so they need to reach that. So this could be quite interesting to see what they're going to do. I think getting that strength back there, they're adjacent to this. I mean, maybe just as well I just repaired this. So I hope that was right. I hope I'm getting away with that, or I might not be able to actually rewind it after this if I want to go ahead with this impulse, which I do. I've got a little bit more time, so I'd like to get one more impulse on before the end of the night. Okay, let's go and look at see what they're going to do. Okay, first movement method 2. Goes to the objective and next to a VP hex. So this unit is just repaired, has become the lowest numbered unit. So, but you can get adjacent to Havilons by moving away from this guy. So, 1, 2. Well, it's actually 4 moving into there, and then 5 moving back into there. But you can actually go 1, 2 moving into there. 3, 4. It's kind of irrelevant. I think he's only. So that's the hex he's going to move into, adjacent to Havilons. So okay, I'm going to leave him down the bottom. So that's him made his move. There'll be a detachment there because he moved through that. hex. Okay, and I think the Fuhrer Brigade's going to follow him actually. Yeah, I don't think they can get down to here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, they can't get down to here. So the Fuhrer Brigade would be next. He's unit selector number 7. I think he's next in line. Oh no, he's not. Hang on. Oh yeah, he is. He is. So as long as there's no restrictions, I think he's going to break away and do the same. And that leaves 3 units and 6 steps in this hex. So yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. Oh yeah, and just to confirm, this is 1 hex closer to the army objective. It's just down this way, so they were in that hex. They're able to move to that hex, so it's 1 hex closer. Yeah. Okay. So who's next? Or what's next? Okay, I think Unit 15 can do this as well. Move to hex closer to Unit's army objective and adjacent to Allied DPX. Obviously this hex is fully stacked now, but this one's adjacent to Havelange too. So 1 and then 2, 3, 4 into the woods hex here. Leaving a detachment there. Yeah. And I think that could be it for movement method 2. Okay. Movement method 3, cause surround. Looking at the 2nd Panzer unit here. Now, yeah, there was issues before, and I think things are opening up here, so it's possible there might be supply traceable at the time. My thinking is going to be 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to surround Marche, going to surround these units here if I do that. But I think Allied supply is now traceable at this town, isn't it? 1. Well, hang on though. 2. Yeah, because it can't trace. I can't just go 1, 2 and then on the road. Because I can't go through this hex because it's German zone of control. But if I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it is going to break the restriction, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to open Allied supply to Houghton. So, okay, doesn't look like I can do that then. Okay, on to 10 to 13. This is the lowest selector number 8. He can't follow his arrows. Because again, he's going to go, I mean, he could go 1, 2, and then 3, but he's opening up supply to Houghton, so he can't move away from there. He can't get any closer to his army objective without breaking that restriction as well. He's already adjacent to an Allied unit, so he's not going to do anything. Unit number 9, he's been down here for a while, surrounding Bastogne, so yeah, he's not going to do anything either. So right, number 10 is next. He's here adjacent to Havelange. Now, again, the restriction about do not move a unit starting adjacent to VP Hex occupied by Allied units with strength 5 or less. Well, there's 7 strength in Havelange, so that does mean that that unit's not caring about moving away. I mean, it might seem a bit odd because his buddies have just come in there, and hopefully could probably do with the force to like sit there and go for avalanche, maybe, or have a go at it. But however, well, you can't move via arrows. I'm pretty sure you can't. I'm sure the arrows are going to be, the arrows down that way. But you can move with movement method 11 closer to his army objective, because he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away there. But if he gets down to here, he's only 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and he can do that by I could go 1, 2. Well, actually, can he do that? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he can do 1, 2, 3 breaking zone of control, and 4 into there. So it's 1 hex closer to his army objective. It's maybe not the best sort of move that, you know. However, it's following the AI's moves, so we'll take it. Okay, so who's next? Unit 13, the infantry there is next. You can't move the arrows. There's arrows up there somewhere. He's not bound again. Remember, Ufe's got 6 strength, so it's more than the 5 required for that unit to hang around. So he's gonna move away. And I did check him, by the way, with movement method 7 to see if he was the only infantry. But there's a 58 core infantry unit in there as well. At first I thought his movement was going to be considered complete because he was the only infantry adjacent to these, but there's a 58th core infantry unit in that hex as well, so that's not the case. So yeah, I think he can move away, so he can move 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then either into there or into there. Okay, so he's moved 2 there, but I just wanted to check, because this 3 to 1 advantage, 1, 2, 3, this is a hex closer to his army objective and it's adjacent to this unit. But there's no 3 to 1 advantage on that unit. There's only 4 strength there, 7 strength, and there's no other active units that are going to be able to get proximate to that. So he's not going to care about that. He's just going to try and get as close to his army objective. So 1, 2, breaking zone of control. And like I say, he could go there or there. They're both the same distance away from his army objective. This one's slightly more west, which is compass direction on the army objective. So I think he's going to go there. Which is now quite interesting because coming back to Unit 8, who's already went right through his moves now, unfortunately. He would actually now be able to make this surround move, and Houghton would be ally supplies not traceable to Houghton because this unit's moved into the junction here and shut that off. But no, that's just the way it goes, isn't it? I think. Okay, that's Unit 13. Let's keep going. So Unit 14, just outside Bastogne. Again, I think he's jumped back and forward a bit as well, hasn't he? And again, there's enough strength in Bastogne for them. Well, I think we've got about, there's like 11, isn't there? 11 strength in Bastogne, so he doesn't need to be restricted to stay there. So, and following his movement arrows, it's 1, 2, that's his arrow if the bridge is good. The bridge is good. So 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then the primary arrow takes him across the bridge into there. I think he's been there before. Going to leave a detachment here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, the last two units are 21 and 23. They're both in that same hex, but I think they're just going to sit there. They can't follow their arrows. They can't get closer to their army objective because it's just there. They're only 1, 2, 3, 4 away. Coming at this hex is 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. So, infiltrate. Yeah, they've nowhere to infiltrate. There is, if there was a space, they would maybe have done that, but there's not. So, and they're already adjacent to allied unit, so that's going to be that. Right, I think that's all the movement done. So let's see if there's any checks to be made. Right, just before I go and do some checks to see if any combat's going to occur, I've just had a reply to my question regarding these replacement points on the elite units from Nico. Thanks for commenting, Nico. He says, I do not see eligible to be assigned steps clearly defined, so I'd say that it means can at this moment in time receive a replacement step, i.e. out of supply, unable to trace supply, or already having received one step. This impulse makes a unit not eligible. Yeah, that's a point it makes. I didn't really mention 16.13, the restrictions. A given unit may be increased by no more than one step. So I guess if you had a unit, right, I'm going to go now. If you had a unit with another counter that you could repair, you can only repair it once. You can't repair it twice. But if it was just a normal line unit and you repaired it once, and you've got an elite unit that you would want to repair as well, then that's sort of saying, are you allowed to do that? Because this unit's still not at full strength, but it's not elite. So that's a good point as well. So he says, in your situation, I'd say that you can assign elite replacement steps. So that's good. That sounds like it should be that, isn't it? He's got to be editing there, describing what the alternative definition could be. If you want to go and read that, and I think he rightly points out that it could be 16.12 could be better written to say something like, if there are no non-elite units not at full strength in the core, if there are no units not at full strength in the core. Oh no, yeah, that's why. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting myself all muddled up there, but the gist of his comment is that he thinks that I should be able to do this. So yeah, go and have a look if you want to read more into that. I think it's right. It's just again this wording, isn't it? Sometimes the wording sort of makes you feel like, oh, am I allowed to do that or not? But I think it'd be too restrictive if you couldn't do that, because yeah. Okay, let's stick with what we've done. We've got at least one reply saying that they feel that that's right. So hopefully nothing comes along to like put a spanner in the works there. Right, let me get back to checking for any combats. Okay, first unit to check is Unit 3. Now, we've not got any reserves active, and we've no support card, so we don't need to concern ourselves with that. So Unit 3, so he's got 2 hexes that he can do a check on. Now, obviously, this one's only 2 strength, and he'd get the support of the Führer Brigade, so that would be 9 against 2. He would get a +1 for having a supplied allied unit. So it'd be 9 against 3, so that would be 3-1 odds. Right, but we need to check this hex. So this is 2, 4, 7. So that's 9, but then we need to check these as well, because these are adjacent too. So that's 8. So 17 against, what did I say? 7. 17 against 7, but they would get a +1 for being adjacent to supplied allied unit 2. So 17 against 8. So that's only 2 to 1, isn't it? Okay. So the 3 to 1's the best odds, so they're just going to check this one themselves. So that's 9 against 2, 9 against 3, 3 to 1. Okay. So, yeah. So we do need to dice roll that. Hang on. 3 to 1 odds. Now is there any modifiers? Attackers include elite, yeah, but defenders are elite as well, so that doesn't count. It's not army group card or army card, and there's no support card, so there's no modifiers, but it is 3 to 1 odds, so no, and it's a 1, so that's probably happening. Yeah, cancel only defender elite or only defender armor. Well, that's not the case. We've got elite. They do have elite, mind you, yeah, so it just shows you, yeah, that 1 could have been cancelled out if we weren't elite. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're going to get a combat there. So it's, what did I say, 9, so it's 9 against 2. So 4 to 1 odds. See if we can get zoomed in a little bit here. Right, I've kind of jumped ahead there, but well, we've got 4 to 1. But let's draw a combat tactic. Ooh, and it's mind you, it's got the A, isn't it? So it's going to be assault coordination, but this needs to shuffle back in. This is the second SS card. Yeah, it looks like all the primary, yeah, the 47th is the same, isn't it? It's combat tactic as artillery, and if you shuffle it in. So if you happen to draw them, means you're always going to activate them because it's going to shuffle in, isn't it? I think that's the case, isn't it? Anyway, okay. Well, I suppose if you drew it as the very last card as a combat tactic, it wouldn't then shuffle back in, would it? Okay, right, Grant. Anyway, so assault coordination, which isn't going to add anything to this battle, but remember it will reduce a hit to them. So, okay, and there's no reserves, so we get the chance. Well, you know what? We've got our core artillery again, which is probably a good, and they're not playing artillery. So let's double check the odds. It's 4 to 1, and they're getting, chip pool wise, they're getting 1, 2. It's only 2 units. 1 for elites 3. 1 for the assault coordinations 4. There's only 4 chip pools. 4 to 1 odds. Right, let me have a think. Yeah, I think I'm going to play the artillery in this combat. It does look like there's going to be another attack. I think it's going to be against this unit here. I just had a wee count of the numbers, and looks like these 2 stacks are going to attack here. So I did wonder if it was... The odds are a bit less, I think. Well, mind you, once they actually conduct the combat, I was just looking at situationally. That's 8, 11 against 3, so it's going to be 3 to 1 odds. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I should rethink this. Hang on. Okay, I've had a slight change of mind. I'm going to play engineers actually instead. So when you play that as a defender, place an IP mark on defending units. Do not place a defender a town, city, or if an IP already present, or if they played combat engineer as well. That's not the case. So I'm gonna get an IP on this guy. So that basically reduces I feel like I keep the artillery. If this combat goes ahead down here, I couldn't use the IP because he's already got an IP, but I might use it down there. Yeah, I think so, because even if this unit does get disrupted somehow and gets moved back, we've still got a bit of a line here. Whereas if this unit was to get messed about or eliminated, there might be a bit of a gap. Sorry, I know you can't. There's nothing down here, so it might mean that this unit could, Rochfort's just you there. It's empty. Let me see that. This is empty, so I mean, if that does move back, it sort of opens a gap up into there. So might want to use the artillery for that. And that, of course, that they're going to have to do a check anyway, so it might not go ahead. So okay, let's go with that. So combat engineers, yeah, that's my combat tactic. Okay. Right, so that doesn't alter anything. Still 41 odds with 4 chip pools. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, there we go. It was quite good, although there's a couple of things that could be altered. There was artillery, and the priority was for, well, no, they didn't play artillery anyway, but we would have got an A1 if they'd played the core artillery. But we got defender adjacent, which is good. Fortunately, 3-1, but it's not going to matter because they cancel each other out. We had an IP. Well, the IP is not going to get removed, and there's an A1 to them. Okay, I'll just put the dice up anyway. Yeah, so it's no hits to us, 1 hit to them, but then they played the assault coordination anyway, so there's no hits all around. The IP is not getting removed though as well, which is quite good. So that is that. Now get rid of that, and right, this is going to shuffle in. This was the combat attack, drawing combat tactics. So I'm going to shuffle that into the German draw pile, and then we'll look at the next check. Okay, so next check, this is unit number 8, but he's 3 against, what is it, 6 or 5 or 6. So that's not going to happen. Then we've got 4 against, what is it, 12 or something in there. I mean, I know they're out of supplies, so they'll lose 1, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, so the last one to consider is back in here. So this is unit number 10. So checking here. With the support of these 3. So that's 3, 6, 8 in there. Oops. Yeah, 8 strength in there, 11, and so total 11 against 3, +1 for the IP is 4, +1 for adjacent supplied allied unit is 5. So 11 against 5 is 2-1 odds. Oh, that's interesting, because if that fails, I was looking at them checking there, but this is the check you would make first, isn't it? Okay, so that means there's going to be 2 checks. So 2-1 odds, and is there any? That's elite and elite again, so that's not going to come in yet. There's no army. No, I don't think there's not going to be any modifiers again. So no. So it's 2-1 odds. So 4. Cancel if less than 2-1 or only defender armor. No, because it's 2-1. Okay, so that's going ahead as well. Well, that's I'm kind of glad, because if that didn't go ahead, it would mean they would maybe make another check here. So these guys are all attacking this guy. Right, so we need another combat attack. Press attack, that just gives them an extra chip pool, so that's not terrible. So yeah, I was hoping for not artillery, and that's good. There's no artillery. So again, there's no reserves, so I think this time we will. We're going to put our core artillery in. Yeah. So what are the odds? Mind like a sieve. 11 against 3. So only 3 to 1 odds when it comes down to that. And then chip pools are 1, 2, 3 units, 4 units, 1 for elites 5, 1 for the press attack 6. So 6 chip pools, 3 to 1 odds. Yeah, I'm still going to play the artillery. Yeah, I think so. I think we should. Okay, so let's get the 6 chip pools. Okay, there we go. 6 chits. Yeah, that was quite interesting. 3 to 1. Defender. We've got a defender adjacent again, which is awesome. Now, to look, you've got to remember that if the unit's already been attacked, it doesn't count, but it was this unit up here that was attacked. So we're talking about this unit as being our defender adjacent, so that counts. Sadly, we've got only attacker armour, the last, and we're only infantry, so they get that. The combat engineer wasn't played. Okay, let me check the numbers in. Yeah, it's 2 and 2. That's not good. I know I've got an IP, but okay, so well, one takes the IP away. Now we've got a big decision to make now, haven't we? Okay, I was just looking at that he's going to take 2 hats, so he's going to take a definite 1 hat and counted up the steps. I think he's going to roll a dice, possibly disperse if he rolls over a 5. He disperse all the units, which would be nice. Now I could just sit in that hex and take a step loss, but I don't think I'm going to retreat. I did want to kind of retreat here to stay adjacent to that unit, but the worry there is that, like I said, I talked about Rochfort, and if they don't disperse, there's a kind of gap down there. So I think I'm going to retreat into here. I'm going to move the counters out of the way. Yeah, I could. I've got an option of retreating here or here. I can't retreat here. I don't think I'm allowed to retreat there or there. Well, yeah, because that would be in zone of control. So yeah, I think I'm going to retreat into there. It's on the junction of the road. It's not. There's no gap through to Dino, for instance, and it's also protecting Rochfort a bit. Okay, so that's satisfied my 2 hats. So now on to his. And just while I remember that core artillery, I'm just going to shuffle that back into my deck. I've still got cards in the draw pile, so I'll shuffle that back in, and I've discarded his combat tactic. Right, so he's got to take the first hat. So he's not got a 4-step unit. He's got 2 2-step units, but this one is the one with the most steps in the stack. So that's the one that takes the first hat. So he's now, they're attacking a 0 hex. So he's got a roll of dice, and he's got 1, 2, 3 steps there, 2 steps there, so 5 steps. So he's got to roll and get was he was rolling. So if he gets less than or equal to a 5, we apply a step loss. But if it's greater than a 5, he's going to disperse all attacking units. Right, I can't see that. What is it? What is it? Oh, it's a 3, okay. So he is going to take the step loss. I think we would have liked to have seen him disperse. So, and he's already took a step loss from that stack, so it needs to be from this stack. So it needs to be that layer unit. And to be honest, yeah, that's a 2-step unit anyway. They're all 1-step units, aren't they? So that's quite nasty for them, I suppose. That's some all 1-step units now. Okay, right, let's move on. This video's getting huge. I'm running out of space. This will be a part on its own, I think. Okay, so I don't think there's any more checks to make, actually. That was that, because these guys already made the attack, so we can't make a check there now. Yeah, that was it. That was it. So, what didn't do anything? Right, this guy here, the infantry unit down outside Bastogne, he's already got an IP, but this guy didn't move. He's the only other unit that didn't do anything, so he can build an IP at least. But I think that's going to be that. There's nobody that's going to bounce back to reserves. All the other units made a move. Okay, good. Okay, right, let's wrap this up. Like I say, this is 50 odd minutes, so I might just put this up as a part. Yeah, but I think I do feel like I really needed to watch that last part back. I was just kind of getting back into the game again. I was feeling like I wasn't confident about the stuff I was doing, but it kind of went alright. There was a couple of wee blips, I suppose. This one, not 100% sure about these replacement points, but nice to get some Nico making a comment that he feels that was probably good, so hopefully we can move on with that. Right guys, okay, I'll tidy things up and we'll get it'll be an Allied Impulse maybe tomorrow sometime. Okay, cheers for now. Hi all. Right, just before I upload this latest part, just be part 2 of the 21st, and before you get ready with your list of errors that I've made, I've noticed 2 or 3 clumsy things, whether it's just because I've not been sitting down regularly enough, or I don't know, maybe just trying to get back into it and get moving again, but however, there's a few things. So I'll try and straighten them up, and this will go into the last part of the video so that I don't need to add any comments, hopefully. First of all, going back to this combat that was down here, and there was the 2 4-step units that they both take a step loss, and I pointed out at the beginning of the video here that I should have done there should have been a dice roll. It was a dice roll that didn't make any odds because it was 13 or less. I think I needed to roll off a d10. So, however, John Brown also pointed out that although again it was a step loss from each unit, I didn't do it properly. I was wanting to I skipped by one of the tiebreakers, and to be honest, the first tiebreaker is apply the loss to the unit in the hex with the most total steps. Well, I think, was it this one? Yeah, this one had the 6 steps, yeah. So this one had 6 steps, and this one only had 4 steps, because I think he was in here. So, in actual fact, this is the unit who should have taken the hit first. Then I should have checked for the second step loss to see if there was enough steps left, and it would have still been 13. We would have, pointless rolling a dice, and then this unit would have taken the hit. So the hits were worked out right, but there was a lot of muddle up about how I'd done it, and John, like I said, John also pointed out that that's the unit should have took the hit first. So just to keep things straight, because that was stacked with 6 steps, it takes the hit first before the other one that was 4 steps. Then the next tiebreaker is the unit with the highest selector number, but but like I say, the most steps should happen first. Okay, that's that one pointed out. Okay, let's see what's next. Okay, and then the first mistake, well, at least the first mistake that I've noticed, you can point out the others if there's more. Well, it was twofold. I was moving this unit away again, and I moved it via arrows, 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3 into there, which was fine. But then I thought I never even considered extending that move by another 2 hexes. So obviously he should have continued following his arrows by going 1 and then 2 into there. And there was nothing to stop him from doing that, so that was that. Another thing, of course, I missed, and I'm sure I missed this one before that last time that unit went away. I left the detachment here. I said, okay, that leaves the detachment there. End up with the unit in here, and he's clearly moved through this hex, but no detachment was placed there as well, which I think I've done that. Whether it's because it's a 1 that throws me, because that's twice I've missed that exact same hex, I'm sure. Anyway, so that unit should be up there, so that's that one. Okay, and I think this is the last one, the most blatant sort of disregard to after this combat, the combat that happened here. This infantry was here. He had an IP, took 2 hits, lost the IP, and decided to retreat on here. The Germans also took 2 hits. Can't remember. I think it was on this unit, and well, it must have been on that unit, and then 1 unit in that stack. Can't remember exactly which one. So that was it, and Grant decides that's the end of the. Sorry. I got a phone call there and that cut things off. So hopefully we can just join us together. Anyway, so I was saying that that was me. I just decided that was the end of the combat and move on. But there's a wee advance after combat option at the end, Grant, if you don't remember. So I'm sure most of you, well, probably all of you picked up on that one. So looking back, this is this lowest selector number 21. Its arrows are going that way though, so it's not primary or secondary forward route or across the river, closer to army objective, or across the river and closer to army objective, or into VP hex, or enable supply. So it's none of them. So the next option is into a town or closer to army objective. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that is going to be closer to his army objective. So he's going to move. Still a die roll that. So it's a 1 to 7. Let you have a look at these, I suppose. Right, there we go. Right, 1 to 7. Oh, he's rolled an 8. Okay. However, he's got 2 buddies underneath him, isn't he? So that was 21. So then you got 23. And then 32. Okay, so 23 would be next. So he's going to go in the same roll. Just left that there, right? So a 1 to 7 as well. Okay, just 7. So he does advance into there. Now I wondered a bit if it would have changed my decision, because of the fact that I missed the advance after combat. I wasn't maybe thinking about it at the time, and I wondered, should I maybe have stayed there and took the step loss? But I don't think so, because then it means I'm not exerting zone of control into here, and it means that these can come down into Rochford easy. So there's still not a gap through there for them, so I think it still was right to have done what I did. But however, okay, well 29 would be next, so that were unit there. Now he is following his primary arrow with a 5, yeah. So that is his primary route, but there's a unit already advanced, so he's going to all go on a 1 to 6. Let's see. Right, I cannot see that. I think it's a 7 again. Oh no, it's a 2. Right, okay, so he is going as well, and well, that'll be that unit. The selector number 32. There's already 2 advanced in, so that's that. Yeah, so that's how that should have finished. Because I'm not really sure what's going on with that one. I don't think I've missed an advance after combat before, but well, not regular anyway. So I don't know what went wrong there. Okay, I think that was all the things. So yeah, so hopefully that's all the errors cleared up. No doubt there'll be something out there. Okay, so I'll add this wee bit on to the last bit, and I'll get that uploaded for part 2. I might as well. It's probably an hour's worth or more now. Yeah, things not going so quick. Okay, but I'm hopefully going to come back just now. I've got a bit more time, so it's an Allied Impulse next, isn't it? So hopefully I'll come straight back. But anyway, that'll be the end of this part, guys. Okay, cheers.